عراديو دولكيسيو عيد لغو هليو وعدك شعبك قيمة شرعينا عيسيو ليسان عبشك إيمان دمركيو عرورتيو عريانا دا تشابانيو
We have 4 victim impact statements. We will start with the 7-year-old daughter of George Floyd, Gianna Floyd, who will present hers by video.
You miss most about your daddy?
Well, I ask about him all the time. And that's kind of it.
Yeah. Well, when you ask about him, what are you asking about?
Well, I was asking, how did my dad get hurt?
Do you wish that he was still here with us?
Yeah, but he is.
Through his spirit?
Yes.
Yes.
kulanti wacan oo wanaagsan daawadayaal asxaabteena cusub asxaabta ka soo horeysay bulshaweynta Soomaaliyeed qaybaheeda kala duwan bahda YouTube-leyda iyo social media-sha kale dhamaantiin walaalayaal waxaan idinku salaamayaa salaanta islaamka assalaamu calaykum wa rahmatullaahi wa barakaatuh salaan ka dib daawadayaal waa walaalkeen Qays maanta waxaan rabaa inaan idin la wadaago ninkii dilay George Floyd ninka Afrikaanka ah oo ku dilay dalka Mareykan gaar ahaan magaalada Minneapolis gobolka Minnesota oo xukun lagu riday ninkaasi ayaa xukunkiisa muddo dheer la sugaayay gaar ahaan eheladiisa iyo qaraabadiisa aad u sugaayeen taasi oo cidna runtii saadaalin karin inta lagu xukumi doono balse eheladiisa iyo qaraabadiisa rajeynayeen muddo aad u kooban in lagu xukumi doono amaba la cafin doono ayay rajeynayeen hasi ahaatee arintu way ka duwan tahay sidaasi ama dareenka eheladiisa iyo qaraabadiisa way ka duwanaatay kadib markii keeskiisa si fiican loo wada dhageysigii kadib muddo dheer ay qaadatay inay garsoorayaasha isku laabtaan oo go'aan ka soo gaaraan muddo dheer kadib go'aan ay gaareen go'aankaasi shalay ayuu dhacay xukunka ninkii dilay George Floyd wuxuu noqday 22 sano arintaasi oo runtii aad uga naxisay eheladiisa iyo qaraabadiisa dhinaca kale ehelada qaraabada uu ka geeriyooday George Floyd way ku faraxsanaayeen in kasto ay sheegeen in xukunkiisa ay fiicnaan lahayd in laga badiyo intaasi balse waxay sheegeen inay ku qanacsan yihiin ninkan dilay George Floyd ayaa noqday nin booliis ah oo u shaqeeyo dalka Mareykan guud ahaan oo dila dadka shacab ah oo xukun ku dhaco ayuu noqday runtii ma badno booliis dilo dad shacab ah in xukun lagu rido ama la xiro ama runtii la ganaaxo aad bay u yartahay intooda badan way la baxsadaan intay dilaan dadka shacabka ayay shaqadooda ku laabtaan oo si caadi ah boolisnimadooda halkaas ka sii wataan qaarkoodna iqaabka ugu sareeyo lagu xukumo in shaqada laga buriyo laakiin si xor ah ku noolaado asagoo qof naf gooyay qof oo runtii shacab dilay ayuu runtii banaankaasi si xor ah ku mara qaarkood ganaax lacageed ayaa lagu xukumaa taas oo aan badneen hasi ahaatee nin booliis ah oo dilay dad shacab ah gaar ahaan qof madow ah dilay oo la xiro George Floyd ninka dilay ayaa runtii noqday ninkii koobaad daawadayaal muuqaal kooban xilliga xukunka ku dhacay ninka dilay George Floyd aan wada daawano daawasho wacan
Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin sentenced to 22.5 years in prison for the murder of George Floyd and for the first time Derek Chauvin directly addressing the Floyd family today. ABC's Alex Perez in Minneapolis tonight.
In court today, the family of George Floyd pleading for justice, their pain clear for all to see. Floyd's 7-year-old daughter Gianna, the first to speak, addressing the judge on video.
We used to have dinner meals every single night before we went to bed. My daddy always used to help me brush my teeth.
Do you wish that he was still here with us?
Yeah, but he is.
Through his spirit?
Yes.
Yeah. If you could say anything to your daddy right now, what would it be?
It would be, I miss you and I love you.
Floyd's brother Terrence with a question for Derek Chauvin.
What were you thinking? What was going through your head when you had your knee on my brother's neck? Why when you knew that he posed no threat anymore, he was handcuffed, why you didn't at least get up? Why you stayed there?
The Floyd family seeking the maximum sentence.
We don't want to see no more slaps on the wrists. We've been through that already. In my community, in my culture, we've been through that already.
Chauvin had only one person in court to speak on his behalf, his mother.
The media, public, and prosecution team believe Derek to be an aggressive, heartless, and uncaring person. I can tell you that is far from the truth, and that my son is a good man.
She did not offer condolences to the Floyd family, instead speaking directly to her son.
Derek, I want you to know I have always believed in your innocence, and I will never waver from that. I will be here for you when you come home. Remember, there is no stronger bond or love than a mother's love.
Chauvin, who's also facing federal civil rights charges, then addressing the court himself.
At this time, due to some additional legal matters at hand, I'm not able to give a full formal statement at this time. But very briefly, though, I do want to give my condolences to the Floyd family. There's going to be some other information in the future that would be of interest, and I hope things will give you some peace of mind. Thank you.
Judge Peter Cahill then handing down his decision. Chauvin faced a minimum of 10 years in prison and the maximum of 40. He was sentenced to 22.5 years behind bars.
This is based on your abuse of a position of trust and authority, and also the particular cruelty shown to George Floyd.
And David, Floyd's family saying today's decision delivers a closure and accountability. David?
Alex Perez in Minneapolis tonight.
We have 4 victim impact statements. We will start with the 7-year-old daughter of George Floyd, Gianna Floyd, who will present hers by video.
What do you miss most about your daddy?
Well, I ask about him all the time. And that's kind of it.
Yeah. Well, when you ask about him, what are you asking about?
Well, I was asking, how did my dad get hurt?
Do you wish that he was still here with us?
Yeah, but he is.
Through his spirit?
Yes.
Yes. And when you see your daddy again one day, what do you want to do when you see him?
I want to play with him.
What kind of games do you want to play with him?
I want to play with him, have fun, go on a plane ride, and that's it.
Yeah. Would you?
We used to have dinner meals every single night before we went to bed. My daddy always used to help me brush my teeth.
Oh. Do you miss him helping brush your teeth?
Yes.
How do you hope that the world remembers him?
Well, they helped him because those mean people did something to him.
Yeah. If you could say anything to your daddy right now, what would it be?
It would be, I miss you and I love you.
All right. Thank you, Gianna. I really appreciate you answering questions today.
That was Gianna Floyd. Your Honor, next we'll hear from the nephew of George Floyd, Brandon Williams. Mr. Williams.
If you could begin by giving us your full name and spelling each of your names.
Brandon Williams, Brandon Williams.
Thank you. You may proceed.
On Monday, May 25th, 2020, George Perry Floyd Jr. was murdered by Derek Chauvin in a malicious and insidious display of hate and abuse of power. Chauvin killed George. Not only did he kill George, but he also displayed a total lack of consideration for human life as he did so. You saw it, I saw it, and millions of people across this country and the globe witnessed the act of hate. A year and 1 month later, I stand there before you tasked with the duty of expressing how George's death has impacted me personally and the rest of our family. As I racked my brain and thought about what I could say today, I came to this conclusion. It is humanly impossible for me to stand here and convey or articulate the right words that would capture all that we are feeling and what we have felt over this period. So please bear with me as I attempt the impossible. The sudden murder of George has forever traumatized us. You may see us cry, but the full extent of our pain and trauma will never be seen with the naked eye. The heartbreak and hurt goes far beyond any number of tears we could ever cry. Words simply cannot express the pain, anguish, and suffering that our family and friends have endured since George's murder. It has been truly unimaginable, but not as nearly unimaginable as the defendant's decision to take the life of a human being with no regard for the effect it may have on others. Although Chauvin will be sentenced today and spend time in prison, he will have the luxury of seeing his family again, talking to them, and he will likely get to spend time with them upon his release. These are all luxuries that my young cousin Gianna was robbed of when Chauvin made the active decision to kill our father. There will be no more birthday parties, no graduations, holiday gatherings, or other family celebrations. The laughter, hugs, guidance, advice, sense of security, and those opportunities to simply say I love you are forever gone. They say time heals all, and while I generally believe that saying, it's challenging to do so given these unfathomable set of circumstances. Before I conclude, I must highlight a few things. George's murder, this trial, and everything in between has been tragic and devastating. Our family is forever broken, and one thing we cannot get back is George Floyd. It is the request of my family that the maximum penalty for the crime for which the defendant was convicted be imposed. On behalf of my family, friends, community, and supporters, I wish to express my sincerest gratitude for allowing us opportunities of expression. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Your Honor, first, just for the record, this wonderful lady standing here is a Hennepin County victim advocate.
Ms. Boswell is well known to the court.
Yes, thank you, Judge.
And so, Your Honor, we'll next hear from the brother of George Floyd, Mr. Terrence Floyd.
And Mr. Floyd, if you could state your full name, spelling each of your names.
Yes. Terrence Floyd, that's Terrence, Floyd, Floyd.
Go ahead.
I'm here representing my brother. I'm from New York. On May 25th, 2020, my brother was murdered, everyone knows, by Derek Chauvin. The facts of this case were proven beyond a reasonable doubt, and 3 guilty verdicts have been rendered. this situation has really affected me and my family. Any family member that has went through this, we are part of a fraternity of families, and it's not one of those, fraternities that you enjoy. I just, over this last year and months, I actually talked to a few people, and I wanted to know from the man himself why. What were you thinking? What was going through your head when you had your knee on my brother's neck? Why when you knew that he posed no threat anymore, he was handcuffed, why you didn't at least get up? Why you stayed there?
You take your time.
A month before my brother was murdered, I was on the phone with him, and we had a long conversation. And as I looked at the video of my niece, the last conversation me and my brother had was he wanted to have play dates. He wanted to plan play dates with Gianna and my daughter. And we started setting it up. That can't happen. And I have to, my daughter's still young, but I still have to explain to her, because this is history. This is a case everybody knows about. So she's gonna find out, and I'm gonna have to explain that to her. And I think that's, to me, harder. I have to talk to my daughter and tell her, about her niece, about her uncle, about the situation. That's basically reliving it all over again, years down the line. I'm here on behalf of my family, on behalf of me and my family, we seek the maximum penalty. We don't want to see no more slaps on the wrist. We've been through that already. In my community, in my culture, we've been through that already. Smacked on the wrist. No. Because if it was us, if the roles was reversed, there wouldn't be no case. It would have been open and shut. We'd have been under the jail for murdering somebody. So we asked for that same penalty for Derek Chauvin. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Your Honor, the final victim impact statement for the state will come from George Floyd's brother, Philonise Floyd.
And sir, if you could begin by giving us your full name and spell each of your names, and I have permitted you to use your phone because you have notes on it, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, and you may proceed when you're ready. Giving us your full name first.
Philonise Floyd, spelled P-H-I-L-O-N-I-S-E, last name Floyd, F-L-O-I-D.
And you may proceed.
1 year ago, May 25th, my brother George was murdered by Derek Chauvin and his co-defendants in broad daylight with a knee to his neck for 9 minutes and 29 seconds. I was a trucker, and immediately my life changed forever. I began to speak to the world for George from the United Nations, Africa, Canada, Japan, and so many other countries. Every day, I have begged for justice to be served, reliving the execution of George, while others begged and pleaded for Officer Chauvin to simply just allow George to take a breath. I haven't had a real nice sleep because of the nightmares I constantly have hearing my brother beg and plead for his life over and over again. Even saying, "They're going to kill me. Please, officer." Screaming for our mom. I have had to sit through each day of Officer Derek Chauvin's trial and watch the video of George dying for hours over and over again. For an entire year, I had to relive George being tortured to death every hour of the day, only taking naps and not knowing what a good night's sleep is anymore. I've been lifting my voice tirelessly every day so that George's death will not be in vain. Honorable Judge Peter K. Hill, I thank you for allowing me to share this today. George's life mattered. So my family and I, most of all, my niece, Gianna. My niece, Gianna, she needs closure. I'm asking that you please find it suitable to give Officer Chauvin the maximum sentence possible, charge that he has been found guilty for. My family and I have been given a life sentence. We will never be able to get George back. Daddy's our daughter's first love. He would never be able to walk Gianna down the aisle at her wedding, attend those magical moments of her life like a daddy-daughter dance, sweet 16 party, seeing her out for prom graduations, and she would never be able to have any personal memories with her father. With a smirk on his face and children present, Officer Chauvin used excessive force and acted against his training. Chauvin had no regards for human life, George's life. I stand before you today asking you to please help us find closure by giving Chauvin the maximum sentence possible.
aad iyo aad baad u mahadsantiin walaalayaal muuqaalkaasi waad aragteen runtii dadka shacabka ah oo runtii George Floyd uu istaagay xilliga la dilay intooda badan aad iyo aad bay ugu faraxsanaayeen inkastoo dadka qaarna sheegayeen xukunkaasi runtii in ka badan ayaa laga filayay in lagu xukumo ama 40 sano ama 30 sano ama 28 sano ugu yaraan in lagu xukumo ayaa rajeynayna dad oranaya ayaa jiro hasi ahaatee nin booliis oo qof shacab dilay oo intaasi xukun laga helay runtii garsoorayaasha aad iyo aad ba lagu qanacsan yahay dadkan tooda badan ku qanacsan yihiin aad iyo aad baad u mahadsantiin walaalayaal arintaasi ku saabsan ninkii dilay George Floyd oo shalay xukun lagu riday xukunkaasi oo noqday 22 sano intaas ayaan ku soo gabagabeynayaa fadlan hadaad ku cusubtahay channelka Qays iyo Raxma subscribe taabo gambalelkana furo saad u hesho notification taniya kulantideena dambe walaalayaal waxaan idin rajeynayaa nabad iyo nolol assalaamu calaykum wa rahmatullaahi wa barakaatuh